Yeah.
You want to like him, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. You straight gangsters over here.
Straight
man.
gangsters. Yeah, good morning and welcome back. You are listening to Scout Team Radio. We bring it to you hot and live each and every morning, Monday through Friday, right here on 12 Ounce Sports Radio. I am one of your gracious hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
Yeah, how about that? That's kind of true. And the man on the other microphone, he is a great American, a great patriot, and sometimes he turns on his microphone to talk into it.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is your boy Chris America coming to you live this Wednesday, September the 18th, 2019, Loudbeard, and it's a wacky Wednesday. Don't let those two Mick Ultras that you had last night bring you down, buddy.
I was hydrating, man. Come on, sometimes you just got to hydrate with some high-quality H2O.
That tickle in your throat, it's really got you down, huh?
Yeah, it's starting to take over. It's Monday. It started as a tickle in the throat. This morning I woke up, I'm like, oh, man, it's like full force, just total congestion all over the place. But you know what? I don't let something like that hold me down, man. I keep going. I stay strong, as we all should.
Have you tried locking yourself in a sauna at a public pool like they did in Stranger Things Season 3?
No, but I should have. That would have been a good one. That would have helped resolve a lot of problems. Now, I did turn the shower on extra hot and stayed in a few extra minutes, so maybe that was kind of replicating what they did in Stranger Things Season 3.
I'm still not finished yet, but it is by far the best season. Like, before, I thought the show was good, but not great. Now, this Season 3, they really picked it up a notch in Season 3.
Okay, I have to agree with you. You know, the crazy part, my daughter, who's a huge Stranger Things fan, she thinks Season 3 is the worst season. And I don't know where she's coming from with that. Yes. Unbelievable, isn't it?
Because they brought their A game in. Like the first two seasons, I felt like they were kind of pretty much the same. Just like, oh, the shadow monster is taking over, and we got to stop it, and we got to close the gate. And then this one, you got Russians, you got the shadow monster, you got zombies, you got everything, man.
I love it. I think it's a great season. And the mall, just reminiscing about the 80s and 90s when the mall was such a big icon to America. It was real Americana at its best. And that Starcourt Mall with Ships Ahoy, yeah, that to me really just, it hit home. It really did, Chris America. You know what else is a great television series that maybe doesn't always get the credit it deserves? Not like a Stranger Things. That would be Saved by the Bell. Did you watch Saved by the Bell when you were a little lad?
I did watch Saved by the Bell, and actually one of my favorite Facebook follows or Facebook pages is Zach Morris's trash.
Well, I don't know if you saw the rumors or if you saw the news, but it looks like NBC, they have their new streaming service that's going to be coming out. They're going to have The Office on it. And now they're looking at rebooting Saved by the Bell and bringing back all of the original characters, including Zach Morris as governor of California.
Oh, so then he's going to be super trash, because you don't become governor without being a trashy human being.
Yes, so Zach Morris will continue to be trash.
Have you ever seen that Facebook page? It's hilarious.
I have.
They go through all the different episodes where Zach Morris is a trash human being, and you kind of don't even realize it when you're little, but when they break it down for you, you're like, oh, man, he is a trashy human being. But they just made it so funny that you just kind of like, that's just Zach being Zach.
Yeah, because it was so over the top. But you're right. If you analyze like what he does, you're like, dude, that's not cool. That wasn't a nice thing to do. What's wrong with this guy? But that's Zach Morris for you in a nutshell.
But Loudbeard, I have bigger news.
Oh, bigger than that?
Today is National Cheeseburger Day.
Oh, Chris America. You got to bring up the cheeseburgers, do you? You love those cheeseburgers, don't you? I feel like you have a problem.
I love my cheeseburger. I love my cheeseburger.
You're like
It's
a
not for
cheeseburger in paradise.
Oh. I am a cheeseburger in paradise.
Yeah, National Cheeseburger Day. It's always a good day. Did you happen to catch that headline I just messaged over to you a couple minutes ago? Breaking
Did you message
news.
me over? Oh, breaking
Yep.
news.
Yep.
Let's see this here. Breaking news.
Go ahead and read it for us.
Massive semen explosion after blaze hits bull artificial insemination facility. Firefighters forced to dodge projectiles. All right. That is from Newsweek.
This is a true story, Chris America.
It is. I
This
see
is a
that.
true story. This is right now. It's trending on Twitter. I'm telling you right now. This is one of those stories that might be able to top that the poop train of Alabama, because a cattle breeding facility had an explosion and it created some nutty headlines. Get it? Nutty.
Oh, I did.
Ooh,
I
you
did
thought you
not,
had a bad day at
Loudbeard.
work, man. Just because
Loudbeard.
it's hot outside.
I did not see that coming.
Oh, but I like it. I like it, Chris America. I don't know if it's too early for this or not, but I needed that in my morning.
Yeah, you
know
did.
What? I needed a little bit of that. Wow.
I'm trying to see if I can find a local news story on that.
I know that this should be breaking news all over the place.
There's got to be. Newsweek has the story. I don't see any like local news because they would have had those like little nice puns in there.
Yeah, there's one. Here's a follow up to the story. It says fire destroys tens of thousands of dollars worth of cattle semen.
How much do you think cattle semen costs? Like I'm trying to like tens of thousands. I'm trying to figure out like, is that like a gallon? Like, I don't know. Like, because like racehorses, a stud fee's like really expensive, right?
Yes. I don't know, man.
I wonder if there's like cow studs out there that how they like do like if you win the county fair you get to like raise your fees and stuff. Is that how that works?
I have no idea. You're
Like,
asking the
here's
wrong
my-
guy. I'm not like an
Here's
expert
my
on
bull
this.
Boris. He's won 4 county fairs, 5 state fairs in a row, and even was Miss Calmerica.
Miss Calmerica. This is good stuff. I see some people chiming in here on Twitter saying things like, well, we found the worst superhero origin story. Massive semen explosion. Yeah, that's how the Minotaurs are made, right there. This explosion. We're creating new people.
He was once a brave firefighter. Now he's a Minotaur.
Found the plot for the next Michael Bay movie. There we go. He likes.
There you. I mean, he does.
exploding
He does
semen.
love himself explosions.
Yep, and then this one says, okay, bystander. Hi, 911. There's been a massive explosion of bull semen. It's everywhere. 911 dispatch. Bullshit. Nope, bystander says, nope, semen. There we go. That's like, I think I've done enough dad jokes onto the bull semen thing, but great story today. This is how we come in hot. This is what Scout Team Radio is about. This is the true origins and the true roots of Scout Team Radio. It's stories about bull semen.
All right, Loudbeard. There's another trending hashtag called My Relationship Resume. And even though you're a married man, like we can still have fun with this, right? I can give you some of these people's resumes, and you can say if you would you'd want them to be your next relationship.
Yeah, we could do that. I like it.
All right. Gab Smash, which already she wants you to smash her. Her name's Gab. We'll call you dude or bro no matter what. We'll make you stop and pet every dog. We'll fight bad guys for you.
Okay.
Drinks whiskey straight. Now I'm hoping like she takes a shot of whiskey before she fights the bad guys.
Okay.
We'll tell you the same stories over and over again because I forgot that I told them originally. Yeah, I'm gonna go
Ooh.
and pass.
Yeah, that's a pass. That story thing, oh, that's the worst.
Because then you're like, do I tell her I've heard this story before? Because she seems really excited to be telling it for the third
Yeah,
time.
because she's saying like, dude, bro, I didn't tell you the story, dude, bro. Yeah, no, I can't do that, man. We're
All right,
passing
here's
on that
another one. We'll make you playlists.
Okay.
Really awkward and might make you laugh.
Okay, I can live with that.
I bake good so I can bake you stuff.
That's a plus.
Huge stash of wholesome means for all occasions.
Okay.
I'm shower you with compliments. And I can't talk for S, but I can listen.
Huh. I'd say that was you give her a shot.
Now, this looks like a guy. So, over 10 years of promiscuousness. All right, good solid start. Experienced
This
in
is up
planning.
Anthony Mac's alley.
Yeah, experienced in planning fun dates.
Okay.
PhD in snuggling, Loudbeard.
Ugh, that's lame.
Excels in cheering you up. Part-time heartbreaker.
Oh. Always a
Skilled at
heartbreaker.
dating the wrong person.
Aren't we all?
Known for good smooches. Proficient in flirting and displays great hugging skills. Now, if you have a PhD in snuggling, shouldn't you be pretty damn good at hugging as well?
Yeah, I mean that's like a given. Like, why do you have
feel
to
like
repeat
I feel like
that?
your parents wasted their money on your college degree if you're only pretty good at hugs.
Either that or he's got a shit ton of student loan debt for all that snuggling in school.
Yeah.
Either way, it's not a good situation.
Not good at all. Well, Loudbeard, you know who doesn't have to worry about student loan debt?
Who's that?
College football players.
No, they don't. They got this scholarship thing they do for a lot of these guys.
Yeah. And we got some great college football matchups this weekend. Your UCF is taking on Pitt. And we were talking last night, and you were talking about your investment strategy of betting against Pitt, and I think you said they were a 13-point favorite?
12-point last
12
night.
points.
I don't know if it's swung at all, but it's at 12.
Okay.
Yep.
So you still feeling confident in that bet? Is that going to make one of your bet it or forget it's?
Yeah, I do like this bet. UCF's got something to prove out there, and I'm glad you kind of brought this up because I've seen this becoming a bigger and bigger story, but it looks like Kirk Herbstreit has finally seen the light, and that's kind of what he said. He gets on Twitter and he says, "I've seen the light, UCF," and he is right now becoming a big UCF fan. Some of his quotes, he goes on to an ESPN podcast, the college football podcast on ESPN, and he says some things. He says they need to be taken more seriously. They need to get more respect. They blew Stanford out. I don't care what the score ended up, 45-27. It felt like it was 60-10. It was a butt kicking. And ESPN puts this podcast out, and on their podcast, they actually say, Kirk Herbstreit is trying to end the disrespect nationally for UCF football. And he retweets it and says, "I've seen the light, started last year. I see you, UCF football." So Kirk Herbstreit jumping on the UCF football train. A guy like him who is very influential in the college football world, do you think he has enough juice to help others to start seeing what he's seeing and what we've already seen for the last 3 years about this UCF football team? Do they now have an opportunity, if they continue to win, to maybe be considered a top 10 team in college football?
I think a lot more people are starting to see the light, but part of me is feeling like the American just got a new massive deal from ESPN, and now conspiracy theory in me says that they're starting to tell all their guys, like, hey, let's ease back on all the UCF doesn't belong stuff because we just spent a ton of money, to carry their games, and we need to make sure that people are watching these games that we just paid for. So why don't we start hyping up, this train? Because honestly, I want to say to all these guys, like, if you're so good at analyzing football, why did it take you so long to see this? Like, why couldn't you just see this ahead of time? Because you and I know, and I know that you're a UCF fan, but anybody who actually watches UCF and knows college football should have seen this coming. I told you, like, in year one of this whole thing, that this isn't going away anytime soon. Like, this is going to be something that UCF is going to build on, and they're just going to continue success. That yes, Mackenzie Milton brought them up, but now that UCF is on the map, it's one of those things that those runaway trains that are just going to keep going for a really long time. As long as UCF can continue to hire good college coaches and continue to recruit well, they should be on the everybody's top 10 list, season in and season out.
Yeah, I know. I completely agree with that. Obviously, I am an alum, so I'm gonna have that little bit of, favoritism going on there. But realistically, I can understand where some of these analysts going into the season said, okay, maybe we're going to hold off. We'll be a little bullish on UCF just because the quarterback situation. You've got Brandon Wimbush coming in. You've got a freshman. We don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be looking like. But now after that Stanford game, seeing what this young Dylan Gabriel's doing, knowing that they have a quarterback of the future on top of a much improved defense and an electric running game, it all of a sudden showed on national television what this team really is. And the people that are going to hate no matter what, they're the ones that are saying, oh, well, Stanford's really not that good. Okay, well, whatever. You're going to say that no matter what. Honestly, that was a good team. They're not a great team, but they were a good team, and UCF had their way with them. And that's, I think, what Kirk Herbstreit's trying to say on his podcast is he's just saying, this is a legitimate team, and we need to start recognizing that UCF does deserve the respect. And it's good to see that he's finally doing it. The other conspiracy theory I saw out there, Chris America, is that Walt Disney World did start sponsoring UCF. They've got a partnership. And again, Disney owns ABC and ESPN, and it's all in conjunction, right? So, ESPN gives the American a big contract, a TV contract. Walt Disney World sponsors UCF. You're getting connections there where it's like, wait a second, these aren't the bad guys. Let's go ahead and let's encourage this.
And what's funny is, back 2 years ago when they're claiming a national championship, I remember when I used to be all argumentative on Twitter and social media, I would just tell people, you do not understand how much this helps UCF. Everybody's like, oh, this hurts their brand, this hurts their image. No, it doesn't. It helps them. It lets them get known. If UCF and Danny White would have just won that bowl game after they beat Auburn and just rolled with it like every other G5 school does and doesn't do anything and doesn't stand up for themselves and doesn't claim what's rightfully theirs, they get forgotten. Do we still talk about Boise State? Sure, but only when they're good and when they're around, but it's still in passing. Like, nobody really talks about Boise State that much anymore. We do, but we don't. Where UCF, they don't just talk about us. We're in, like, ESPN promos now, Loudbeard. I don't know if you've seen them, where they show different highlights of different games and teams, and you got Alabama, Clemson, Texas, and then boom, there's UCF. That does not happen if Danny White never once says we're claiming that national championship from that one obscure poll that the NCAA recognizes.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. From a branding standpoint, sometimes you just got to get your brand out there, right? The best publicity sometimes is negative publicity. So when everybody else jumps on it and says, oh my God, they're claiming a fake national championship. Oh, I hate this, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? You are now talking about UCF, whether you are an analyst or you're just a regular everyday Joe on social media. The brand exploded after that. It got into everything. And just like Bull Semen. And I think that it is a great thing for the school. And you're right. This was that story that just, it never went away. And people still now bring it up. But it's very, it's become dismissive almost. Like when I see it on social media, 2 years ago, it would be like, oh, fake national champions, blah, 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 blah. This is a terrible thing. And they've talked so much trash. Now people say it and everybody's like, dude, that's old news. Come on. They're actually pretty good. Like, get over yourself. This is the lamest take we've ever seen. So now nobody's even feeding into that like they used to, unless it's, unfortunately, it's typically an Alabama fan that will say, yeah, that's right, they're fake. Like, okay, that's kind of hypocritical. But, hey, that's another story for another day.
Mike Berlon tweeting in. He says, I think the talking heads were just hoping that the cyclical nature of college football eventually knock UCF down, and it's clear that's not happening. And he's right, man. It's not happening. And I don't, with Dylan Gabriel as the quarterback, for the next 3 or 4 years, I don't foresee that happening for a while either. Again, it still matters about who their coaching hires are. They got to keep that right. And Loudbeard, I think this is another reason why UCF is starting to get more credit than they used to. And I think it's because Scott Frost isn't doing that well in Nebraska. And so they're starting to realize, well, maybe this wasn't just a Scott Frost thing. This is a UCF thing.
Oh, yeah, this is fantastic that you brought that up. I was thinking that this morning also. I was going to ask you, do you think Scott Frost is sitting up at night thinking, why did I leave UCF?
I don't think so yet, but I think he will eventually.
Yeah,
I think if he continues down this path and it's 3 or 4 years, especially if he gets fired from Nebraska, I don't think he'll ever publicly admit it to himself, but I think he'll have to go to therapy sessions and talk about how he regrets it, and his therapist is going to have to help him through that and tell him, you can't have regrets in life. You went after, your dream job and it didn't work out. So, but yeah, I think eventually if this continues to go the route that I think it will be, and I've always said that I don't think Scott Frost is a bad coach. If he's not going to change up the offense that he ran at UCF, if he's not going to go to Nebraska and change what he did at UCF, then he's going to fail because he's not going to be able to recruit the speed that he can find in Florida. They just don't have that kind of speed in Nebraska. And while people said, Nebraska's a national brand and they can recruit guys from all over the country, it's not 1985 anymore. Kids aren't going to Nebraska for the name and going to the middle of the country in the middle of nowhere because of the name of Nebraska. Now they're like, yeah, I could go to Nebraska or I could just go to UCF or Troy or anywhere else. I have so many options of college football that can get me to where I want to go that I don't need to go to the middle of the country and play in the cornfields of Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska's definitely lost that luster, and I believe there was a thought that it would come back. That's why the preseason polls had Nebraska in the top 25, which you and I from the very beginning said this team didn't deserve to be there. We didn't know why they got put there, and that was another, big four-letter network mistake where they're thinking, okay, we're going to hype this brand, but that brand is dead, man. That Nebraska brand, it just isn't the same brand like it used to be. Like you said, in 1985, this isn't a Tom Osborne-led Nebraska team. This is different, man. Things are different nowadays, and you're right. The speed in Florida is so much different than what you see in Middle America. Wisconsin's doing it the right way, right? They get the big offensive linemen, and they got that power running game with Jonathan Taylor. That's how you run it when you're in the middle of the
Midwest.
country.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you run a team, and it's successful.
Corn-fed boys on the offensive line.
Right. This is not the, Scott Frost. And you talked about the coaches at UCF. I still think that it's probably a little it's not talked about enough, I'll say, is Randy Shannon. That guy on the defensive side of the ball, one, he is a fantastic coach, and two, I think that defense is really starting to come together to what he's trying to do, and I think he's the right guy. You said about bringing in the right coaches. That guy, that was a huge get for Josh Heupel and his coaching staff, and I love it, man. I think that's, again, part of that UCF growing where they're getting big-name coaches that are staying and wanting to be a part of this program, wanting to develop it into something special, and that's what they're coming together with.
Yeah, Randy Shannon was one of the most well-respected defensive coordinators throughout his entire career down in Miami. I think he lost a lot of that luster, which is sad to see because it shouldn't be this way. But when you become a head coach and you fail, then people are like, oh, well, then you just stink at your job and everything. We kind of saw that with Wade Phillips, right? Wade Phillips was the Cowboys coach for the longest time. He didn't succeed, and so people kind of threw him to the side and like, oh, Wade Phillips sucks. And Wade Phillips has done nothing but go back to being a defensive coordinator and put out nasty defense after nasty defense wherever he goes. And I think Randy Shannon has been kind of doing the same, but with Randy Shannon, in college football, it takes patience on defense, and I don't think college fans have a lot of patience. I know he was the defensive coordinator at UF, and a lot of Florida fans were getting impatient with him, and they thought that our defense wasn't as good to what our standard was. And then even last year, people were criticizing him heavily for how bad the defense was, and it's like, no, like you need to give him some time to get his system in place, so that way his defensive team can trust his play calls, trust their assignments, trust their gaps. And you're starting to see that now, like you said, in this season, because it is a world of difference watching this defense play. Because now they're not just a bunch of speed athletes on the field. They're now speed athletes who know where they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to be doing, and when they're supposed to be doing it.
I 100% agree with you, Chris America. Man, I knew it was going to be a good morning when I woke up and we were going to talk about UCF. That's how I knew it was going to be a good morning.
But yeah, if you wanted to see how much faster UCF is and Florida speed is, just rewatch that Stanford game, man. Like, they were just blowing by their corners on the offensive side of the ball. Like, I don't remember that guy's name, like Ajabo or something. He was supposed to be like a first-round NFL cornerback selected in the draft, and our guys were he was just 3 steps behind every single deep pass.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting side story to the whole game where they're like, yeah, this guy is going to be a first-round draft pick in the NFL. And he got burned by Gabe Davis. And Gabe Davis isn't a big-time name wide receiver. People know him locally for being a good wide receiver for UCF. But he is a extreme talent, and he made that number 1 or first-round draft pick look pretty pedestrian.
Yeah, he did. And I mean, I'd feel bad for the kid if that hurts his draft prospects. It probably won't. He'll go back to the Pac-12 and everything. Nope, Jenny of Ohio tweeting in, I didn't know you could spend that much time talking about UCF. Nap time. Okay, Jenny of Ohio, maybe we would love to talk Miami of Ohio, but the Ben Roethlisberger days are long behind you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Poor Ben
They're almost long behind
alum.
Steeler Nation.
Yeah, he's hit on some troubles.
So Loudbeard, speaking of the Steelers and NFL football, we'll wake up Jenny of Ohio. She can stop taking her nap. We'll stop talking about UCF. Eli Manning benched for the second time in his career. Is it time for the Giants to move on from Eli Manning right now, or do you think they should wait?
Well, Chris America, I'm glad you brought this up because I have some thoughts on this. Number 1, yeah, Eli Manning, there's a reason why he's being benched for the second time in his career. He has not performed over the last 3, maybe even 4 years to the level that a NFL quarterback needs to be performing to. We've lived off of his legacy for long enough. It is time for the Giants to move on. Ben McAdoo got a lot of heat when he first benched Eli, and the problem then is they had Geno Smith in the waiting. You weren't prepared to bench him at that time. Right now, you have a top 10 draft pick in Daniel Jones, the future of your organization, and the season is not too far behind you where you can't salvage what has already been done. So, yes, it is time for the Giants to move on. It is time for Eli Manning to be done as the quarterback, and I think that the Giants are doing the right thing. They're not waiting too long in this circumstance. They are taking it, and they are doing the right thing at the right time, and they're saying, all right, our season's not over yet, and even if it is, we're going to get this guy plenty of playing time, and it is time to get him in. So I love this move, and I at this point wonder, why did you even start the season with Eli? You know what was going to happen. I could see this coming from a mile away. So no surprises here. But, yeah, time for the Giants, man. This is the new era, the Daniel Jones era.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody thought the Giants would do anything other than start 0-2 this year. I really don't. They have no offensive line. That's one of the things I do feel bad about. Daniel Jones is coming in. He's got no offensive line. Maybe that's what they were waiting for. They were waiting for an opponent like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to kind of, all right, let's not throw him to the wolves and have him get eaten up by Dallas's defense week 1. And I guess they saw how good the Bills were defensively week 2, so maybe that's why they held off. And now they're like, all right, the Buccaneers, we know this is a trash team. Let's kind of bring them in. Let's have him get his feet wet. Redskins defense, that's the next week after that. No offense, like we know that their defense has some struggles. Let's get him some reps in before he has to go and face off against the Vikings one week and then the Patriots the next week. Those are two well-known defenses that those two teams just come out and they'll hit you hard in the mouth. So let's get his feet wet a little bit with the Buccaneers and the Redskins. I think maybe that was their game plan.
I'm offended.
I'm sorry. You should be. Why don't you cry about it over the break?
Oh, man. I am going to cry about it over the break. All right. Well, Chris America,
I was waiting
time
for the
that
music.
break. Oh, man.
Yeah,
I thought
right
we were
over
going to
there,
do I was trying to do a hook here, but you know what? Screw it.
The hook
We'll
is
see
you
guys
going to cry on your break.
Hey, Kawhi, what are you laughing at, man? This isn't funny. Fantasy sports reimagined. FanDuel, that's what I'm talking about. It is more than just fantasy sports. It's the best way to watch the games, win real cash, and bring the action right to your living room. Just choose a contest, make your picks, watch, and win. And if you go to FanDuel.com/STR today, you can get a $5 deposit bonus. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/STR. Come on, man. This is not a laughing matter. If you've been listening to Scout Team Radio for a long time, you know that myself, Loudbeard, has placed a bet or two in his day. That's right, I've lost the beard bet, I lost the romper bet, but one place I don't like losing is when I bet money, and I can easily do that at MyBookie. That's right, you can go to mybookie.ag, use promo code 12OZSports, and get a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Hey, guess what? That is a lot of money. Do it.
When I'm working hard, I build up a thirst for sports. That's when I grab a cold 12-ounce sports radio. 12-ounce sports radio. Quench your sports thirst.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite Patriot, Chris America, and I want you to listen every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and on replays from 11 a.m. to noon of Scout Team Sports. Listen, George Washington did not cross over the ocean blue in 1492 to defeat the Nazis, so you can listen to the same tired national clickbait sports stories. So once again, tune in to us every single morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and then we replay from 11 to noon. I will see you there, and God bless America.
Every time I hear Chris America on that commercial say, God bless America, it really warms my heart. Welcome back. Thank you all for listening in. Once again, we are Scout Team Radio. He's Chris America. I'm Loudbeard. We bring it to you hot and live each and every morning, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. right here on 12-ounce Sports Radio. We also simulcast on the Full Press Radio Network, and we're part of the Barn Burner Radio Network. We're kind of all over the place, kind of a big deal. You know what I mean. If you can't catch us live, make sure you check us out on our podcast. You can search for that at Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcast, Google Play, anywhere you find a podcast, just search Scout Team Radio. You'll find us, and you can listen daily. It's awesome. It's amazing. Make sure you check that out. Lastly, make sure you're interacting with us. We're on Twitter. We live tweet during the show. Hit us up. Jenny of Ohio, Mike Berlon, thank you guys for tweeting at us this morning. We appreciate it. But, yeah, anybody else out there want to interact, hit us up on Twitter at Scout Team Radio. Even if it's not during the live show, you can hit us up, and we'll talk about your tweets on the air. If you want to know why UCF's not getting the respect they deserve, you can hit us up about that. If you're like Jenny of Ohio and you fall asleep when we talk about UCF, ask us a question about something else. NFL. Ask us why you think Daniel Jones is a better quarterback than Eli Manning. Ask us anything. I don't care what it is. You can even ask us if you think Jalen Ramsey deserves to be traded for 2 first-round draft picks. You can ask us that question. I mean, right,
No.
Chris America?
Yes, you can ask us that, but the answer is no.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Ramsey comes out. He's a very vocal dude. That Florida State ties. Anybody from Florida State, they seem like they're overly vocal sometimes. And they come out, and he's like, you know what? My team sucks. Trade me. Just trade me. Jacksonville's like, yeah, we'll trade you. If any schmuck out there, any sucker wants to give us 2 first-round draft picks for you and your loudmouth ass, you can go ahead and they can send us some draft picks over. So I don't think Jalen Ramsey's getting traded, but the asking price is pretty high.
Is that really what they're asking for? Is 2 first-round picks?
Yes, sir.
I don't think the market bears that, man, for cornerbacks who are good. I mean, we talk about, our running back's worth this, our quarterback's worth that. I look at the cornerback position now, and with the way the rules are, you definitely do want a good, solid corner. But for some reason, I feel like the longevity of a cornerback isn't what it used to be. Like, I feel like one year it's Richard Sherman for a couple of years, and then, you got Josh Norman for a couple more. Like, has Josh Norman really been that impressive with the Redskins for you?
No, he's very mediocre.
Like, he had that, 2 great seasons with the Carolina Panthers, and then you guys signed him to that big contract, and he's kind of been lost in the weeds. Like, nobody talks about Josh Norman much anymore. And I feel like that's kind of the way Jalen Ramsey's career is going. He had a first few good seasons. Last year, he's kind of been a ghost. Who's talking about Jalen Ramsey unless it's him talking himself?
It's a good point. Yeah, I don't know if he's quite worth it. From what I'm seeing, it looks like there's been some teams that have made some offers out to the Jaguars. One team's doing a first rounder and a 5th rounder, and another team is a first rounder and a player. But it doesn't seem like the Jaguars have bit yet. They're trying to hold out to see if they can get some more value and get 2 first-round draft picks for Jalen Ramsey, which I think is smart on the team's behalf because the guy doesn't want to play there, and they do need to get some more talent in on this team. And your quarterback's out for the year. You started out slow. Let's see what kind of value we can get for the future. So the Jaguars are handling this correctly as an organization. But I'm with you, Chris and Mary. I don't think the value is going to be there unless you go by the supply and demand tactic, where if you have a team that is on the cusp of making the playoffs or maybe making a deep run for a Super Bowl, and they have an injury at a key position in their secondary, that's a team that may get desperate and pull the plug and just go for it and do like a 2020 and then a 2022 first rounder, do something like that. But I think that it's got to be a desperate team and the right circumstance for any of these teams to actually pull that amount.
Or
off.
it's got to be a team like the Patriots who are like, first round picks, we don't use those.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead.
Yeah, we usually trade them for 5 5th-round picks.
Yeah, so we'll trade our 2 first-round picks for your Jalen Ramsey, and then we'll just have all the players. Like, we're basically like Pokemon. Got to catch them all.
Honestly, the Patriots do come to mind. I mean, they're a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, and I think they're pretty satisfied with their secondary. But if they had 1 or 2 key injuries, they could go out and hire a gun like Jalen Ramsey. So, anything's possible. But, yeah, Jaguars are playing this one smart. They're saying, okay, let's see what value we can get. And you never know what team gets desperate and ends up trading for him. I've seen crazier trades in the past.
Yeah, and the Jaguars really don't have any need to push him or move him off of the team anyways. Like, okay, if you want to be here, be here. If not, we'll try to get what we can for you, but we're not just going to give you away just because you want out.
Yeah, no, there's no way. There's no way. Chris America, I'm going to move on to the quarterback position, moving from cornerback.
Well,
I have a question.
You sure you don't want
ahead.
to address Jenny of Ohio's tweet?
I didn't see it, so yeah, I don't know if I should or not.
She says anyone who gets signed by the Redskins ends up being mediocre. Jenny of Ohio, full of the haterade today.
Wow, I like where she's going with that. Okay, we can live with that. I mean, Adrian Peterson, he's like 500 years old, and he's still running okay. So I can live with his mediocreness. Yeah, I'm down on my team this year. I can't really say too much. I don't have a whole lot of comeback on that one. If we were
it's got to be a Maryland battle there because she's a Ravens fan.
Yeah,
little people know Washington Redskins, they do play in Maryland.
I know, Landover. So she's got this whole, Lamar Jackson's playing amazing. even though they've played the Cardinals and the Dolphins. So I'm not really going to say, it's Super Bowl or bust yet for the Ravens, but man, I can't say too much bad about it because the Ravens have been a fun team to watch so far this year. Lamar Jackson looks good. Hollywood Brown looks good. I mean, I love watching this team, so I'm not going to throw any hate on it. I get it that she's kind of trying to get me fired up with the Redskins hate talk. But my Redskins, man, they have looked pretty mediocre. And honestly, ever since Alex Smith had that injury, the hope has been gone, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Now I'm depressed.
Sad day. Maybe you guys should go with Dwayne Haskins when they play the Giants.
Honestly, I've been thinking about that. I don't know that this team is going to really make some noise. I mean, you never know when a team gets hot. It's still early in the season. I'd love for everything to start coming together and gelling a little bit better than it already is. But there's going to come a point where the season gets a little out of hand, and you have this young guy that needs playing experience. Let's get him in. And the Giants pulled the trigger early. What's stopping the Redskins? So I'm interested to see how long it takes before Dwayne Haskins gets on that field.
So Mike Berlon also concerned about you. He says, you good, man? Really mailed in the beginning of that coming off the break. Turned it around midway, though. But you had me worried for a minute. Are you good, Loudbeard? Is that
I'm not feeling well. Just because I'm a little
bringing you down?
Sick. It is, man. I'm
do you need to take a sick day tomorrow?
I've got a post-nasal drip. I've got head congestion. You guys don't understand the pain it is.
Do you got
over
upset
here.
stomach diarrhea?
Yes. Special sauce, lettuce, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. I've got it all, man.
Try some Vapo Rub, man.
I need something over here. He's right, though.
Oh, my God.
I'm lacking the energy that I normally have. That's the problem, man. My energy is just at a very low level. It's not that I'm phoning it in, Mike Berlon. I'm doing my best over here, man. But thank you for the concern. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be all right. I'll survive. I'm a survivor.
Last night, Loudbird, I had to old man it and throw on some icy hot on the lower back. I put on way too much. I felt like my skin was on fire.
You are crazy. I hope you didn't put it in your undercarriage. That I heard.
No. Just my lower back. Just lower back. Just put on way too much because I thought. You ever have like a soreness where you're like maybe it's here, like you're like kind of touching your back, and you're like, but it's over here too, and so you just start rubbing it all over, and I just kept adding more and more cream, and it just eventually and then you're like, well, it's not really working. That's the thing about icy hot; it doesn't really kick in. So you start stupidly adding more, like I did, where I'm like, maybe there's just not enough on there, and then next thing I knew, it was like a code red fire alarm on my back.
Yeah, it's like when you're eating hot wings or maybe some sort of spicy food, and you're like, you take one bite, and you're like, it's not too spicy, so you like add more. Then you take a couple more bites, and then all of a sudden it kicks in, and your mouth is on fire. You did that to your back with icy hot.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yep, that's what
old
you did.
man problems.
You should rub sriracha on it next time. I think that might help it out. I just like saying that word.
Loudbeard.
Hey,
you know there's
Chris
a tropical storm named Jerry?
That doesn't surprise me. Jerry sounds like he would be somebody that would cause some problems.
I really want a tropical storm Ben to come with him.
Like a Ben and Jerry?
Yeah. Now did you know there was a tropical storm that just showed up out of nowhere south of Texas and then just hit them like within 24 hours?
Yeah, I saw that. A lot of people weren't even aware it was coming.
It was like Esmeralda or Ermatilda or it was a weird name too.
Yeah. Yeah, we all got weird names, don't we?
Gotta love the hurricane season, don't you?
I do. And you know what? That tells me we're in the prime of hurricane season. It's all coming for us, but it's okay because Christmas is right around the corner, so we'll be fine.
Whoa, Christmas. What about Halloween, bro?
100 days till Christmas. Actually, it's like 98 days till Christmas, but we're close. Oh, what do you mean Halloween? There's a holiday, but
my man.
What about Thanksgiving?
That's the real deal right there.
Yeah.
But you got to go to the right house.
I do love me some Halloween, though. Halloween, I think, is...
Yeah.
I mean, like, as a kid, Christmas was always fun because you got presents, but, like, Halloween was always a good... Like, it still is. It's fun. I don't think I've dressed up in a couple years, but, like, going to adult parties when you get older, dressing up and just drinking your face off, and
I'll have a
everybody
Halloween
like,
party.
oh man, those are the best.
Yeah, I'll have a
actually,
Halloween party.
we went
Are
to
you
a
gonna have
Halloween
one?
party last year, didn't we? An adult
You
one.
did.
Was that
yeah, we
dressed
went
up?
we went to one together. That's right.
Yeah, we
I
did.
remember now.
I did dress up for that one. I do love Halloween.
What were you?
man.
I forgot.
Oh, I'm trying to remember. I've got the costume still hanging in my closet.
Yeah, and that was when I touched your butt to your daughter's butt.
You did what?
You don't remember that? 'Cause
No.
Remember, I was with Miss America at the time, and I thought, like, we took a picture, and I thought it was her, and so I just, like, gave her a pat on the butt, and I was like, oh, my God, you're not Miss America.
Oh man,
You're
I would have killed you
totally-
if I would have known. You guys hid this.
No,
from
you
me.
knew. I told you. It was a big joke.
Oh, I don't remember. Just remember, I'm in a little bit of a cloud today. I'm in a haze, but
Yeah.
that's awkward, huh? Yeah, that was weird. I do kind of remember that. Oh man, I can't remember what my costume was though. God, this is killing me.
I'm trying to remember
I'm
it.
having an off day today. This is not
You
good.
are. What was Mrs. Loudbeard?
If I can't remember what I was, how do you think I can remember what she was? I'm gonna have to go back and look at
You weren't
pictures
like-
on my cell phone.
You weren't like Red Riding Hood and a wolf, were you?
No.
No.
But yeah, maybe.
Okay.
No, we weren't that. It was a couple's costume though. I do remember that. I think we
Yeah. Mhm.
had something going on. Dang, dude! Now you're killing
Anyways.
me. Yeah,
you
moving
gotta
on.
ask Mrs. Loudbeard after the show.
Yeah, she's
Tweet
she's
in your guesses. What was Loudbeard last year for Halloween? Tweet in your guesses. Go ahead. I'd love to see this. What the audience thinks.
It could have been anything.
Oh man.
Now I know I'm getting old. I've got old man brain, and that's how the beginning of the end starts.
It's funny because I totally didn't even remember that party until you mentioned it. So
Yeah,
you're like,
we're
I
both
haven't
in the
been
same
to. You're
boat.
like, I haven't been to a Halloween party in a long time. I'm like, yeah, I guess you haven't.
Interesting. Well, Chris America, I don't know. There wasn't a lot of sports news going on yesterday, but it was Generations Day in Major League Baseball. I'm just gonna throw that out. I made that name up, but it's a thing. Mike Yastrzemski, his grandson, homers last night, and Craig Biggio's son hits for the cycle. The legacy of these players continues. So, interesting night last night in Major League Baseball.
Mike Berlon saying you had too many White Claws that day.
That White Claws weren't a thing then. I mean, they might have been a thing,
they were
but they
around,
weren't like
but they weren't
a
a thing. Yeah.
Right. I could have had
They
too
were
many.
pumpkin spice White Claws.
Oh, yeah, pumpkin spice. Oh,
Hold
man,
on. Wait a second. I'm sitting here, I'm looking at Twitter. It says Mike Berlon on one side with his tweet, and then right next to it, trends for you, hashtag Mike for Bachelor. Mike, does your wife know you're trying to get on Bachelor?
And he can answer that through the microphone. Go ahead.
Yeah. You gonna watch Mike if he becomes or are you gonna watch Bachelor if Mike becomes Bachelor?
Oh, man, I'd watch every second of that. That'd be fun.
I wonder
I'm
what
scrolling through my pictures to go back and see if I have any pictures from Halloween.
I wonder what Mia Khalifa would think of it. Mike being on Bachelor. Maybe she would finally notice him.
Yeah, she would finally tweet back. I've never seen someone that's tweeted that little back to him.
You ever notice, or did you know that was a lost bet? I didn't know that was. I thought it was just a bit. But apparently he has to do that because he lost a bet. That's one of his punishments.
Yeah, I did. The dartboard of doom.
Yeah.
I remember he hit it, and he's like, "Oh, for 1 year, he has to tweet her every day or once a week."
He says that like his anything to get Mia to notice me. I guess. He says that like some of his family and friends who aren't in on it have to like go to his wife and be like, you know, he keeps tweeting at Mia Khalifa, right?
That's awesome. That is so funny.
That's probably one of the best punishments on a radio show I've ever heard.
The best part about that is I'm sure they're like serious going to the wife like, "Hey, can we talk to you for a minute? Let's go to the kitchen. This is
right.
I really need
Mike's
to
not
talk to you
around,
about
right?
something."
Mike's not around. I
Yeah,
don't want him to overhear me.
Mike's in the basement drinking. Okay, that's normal. I wanted to tell you that I think Mike has a problem. He's been tweeting at Mia Khalifa. I'm really concerned that this could be something that's a problem. His wife's probably like, "Oh, come on."
But at least now Mike knows who all the narcs are within his family and friends circles.
All right. Yeah. Like, who was it? Who was it this time?
Who was it
You're
this
written
time?
off the
Who's a
Christmas
narc?
list.
Who's a
Yeah,
narc
we're not
on my-
sending you
on
a
my list?
picture. You're out of here. Don't you dare drink my White Claws when you come to my house.
You should start handing them all, like, give them all whistles for Christmas because they're whistleblowers.
I don't know that joke fell through.
Yeah, that's
like
all
you
right.
wanted it to, but
That's
that's
all right.
okay. I'm calling you out on it. That's what I do.
You know what? Sometimes you got to throw things against the wall and hope it sticks.
like bull semen.
Wait, Aaron Carter's trending? Why is Aaron Carter trending?
He put
Why
in
is
a
this- why is
restraining
this-
order against his brother. That's
Did he
why.
really?
Yes.
How did we not? We just buried the lead, Loudbeard. That should have been the first story. How did you know this and not bring this up?
I saw it. I didn't think it was significant enough to bring up. I didn't realize you were
Hold
such
on.
a big Aaron Carter fan.
While
he's
you
like-
guys were sleeping, Nick Carter is accusing Aaron Carter of threatening to kill his pregnant wife, and Aaron is accusing Nick of, raping a 15-year-old when he was 23. You talk about family drama. Holy cow. That is a bombshell news story, whether you like Aaron Carter and Nick Carter or not. Nick Carter is a staple of our childhood, Loudbeard.
Now, is not my childhood. Is that a bigger family mess, or the one story about Mike Berlan's family coming to his wife about him tweeting at Mia Khalifa? Like, which family's got more drama going on right now?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I guess maybe Nick Carter. Maybe Aaron Carter.
Perez Hilton, one of the infamous gossip news people, he tweeted out 12 hours before this that Aaron Carter confessed on national television to having numerous mental health illnesses that are very serious and ongoing. He should not be allowed to own guns. Retweet if you agree. Like, this is what the world's come to.
Like
Like,
what
not
is
like, let's
retweeting
get-
gonna do?
Yeah, like, let's not get Aaron Carter some help. Let's just retweet it and, like, embarrass him.
Well, that's kind of a Perez Hilton thing. That's not. Yeah.
Man. That
Hmm.
Aaron, do you think Nick Carter wakes up every day and sees Justin Timberlake and says, "I was supposed to be you, man. I was supposed to be you"? Because
I think everybody wakes up every day and says, Justin
Yeah, but-
Timberlake, I wish I was you, man.
but nobody
I wish
was
I
as
was
close to being Justin Timberlake than Nick Carter,
That's a
leader
good
of
point.
a boy band. And his boy band was like, I felt like the Backstreet Boys were a lot bigger than NSYNC during that time.
Yeah, but Nick Carter had success. So
Not
it's
JT's success.
Yeah, I mean,
Not as a single artist.
I get what you're saying on that, but not everybody's going to be the biggest artist on the planet.
Well,
You
no.
only have one biggest
Right.
artist on the planet, and not that some people would argue Justin Timberlake isn't, but I mean he's so versatile and he's done so many different things: acting, singing, with the group, solo, everything. Not everybody's going to be that. Like, Batista's not going to be The Rock. I'm sorry, but Batista's still very successful. That's just my comparison that I felt like throwing out.
Yeah, well, apparently it's gotten to him more than what you're leading on because they got this whole brother drama going on.
Okay, that's a good point. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm downplaying the whole situation. It's psychological, this stuff. And I don't think we've been in that circumstance when you're on top of the world and being in Backstreet Boys, you're on top of the world.
Yeah.
And you come down to earth where you kind of become a little bit irrelevant, even though Backstreet Boys are making a comeback and they're touring and stuff. But their fame was back when. And then
Right.
you become a solo artist, you have a little bit of success, and all of a sudden you're nobody because the next big thing comes around or the next big act or whatever.
And you tell your agent, hey, let me get on Saturday Night Live. Oh no, they booked Justin Timberlake again.
Yeah.
They don't have room for you.
Yeah, it messes with the psyche, right? Like you don't know how to handle those emotions that flood in. So because of that, things happen, and now Perez Hilton does not want you to own guns.
Yeah. Well, I guess Nick put out a restraining order against Aaron. This is some very big time family drama here, man.
Would you consider it to be juicy?
Yeah, very juicy. Like a juicy hamburger or juicy cheeseburger for National Cheeseburger Day. Loudbeard, before we head out, where are you going to get a cheeseburger for your National Cheeseburger Day?
Oh, where would I get a cheeseburger? You know what? I'm going OG McDonald's. Bam, book it.
Really?
Where are you getting
promoted it? Man, I know some people downplay it, but I love me some Five Guys cheeseburgers, especially after a hangover.
No,
Nothing
Five Guys
beats
is
it.
good.
Nothing beats it.
It's got that natural grease.
Oh God, they're so greasy and so good.